There's a man named the Doctor who is a Time Lord who can regenerate when he dies, and he travels in time with a companion, solving mysteries and saving the universe. And he travels in a blue phone box, and you should watch Blink for your first episode.
There's very few TV shows where I'll stop everything I'm doing and watch it just to enjoy the experience. And Doctor Who is one of those shows.
It's very few shows can carry off so many different themes in 1 hour. In fact, I can't think of another show, maybe you can tell me, another show that has so many different elements, sci-fi, mystery, adventure, heartbreak, all in 1 hour. And that's the beauty of Doctor Who, is that it can do things like that.
Sure, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it's growing now that the new series has kind of gone more mainstream, because it used to be kind of this small group of people watching this random 1960s British weird show with really bad effects, and it was pretty cheesy, and I think now it's still cheesy, and that's what's great about it, but I think it's become more mainstream and that sort of thing, so it's great.
There is no boundaries to what can be done with the series. It's the most flexible series in the world. That's why it's lasted 50 years.
I didn't know there were actual people that liked Doctor Who. Like in my high school, of like 3,000 people, no one knew what Doctor Who was. And then I came here and I feel like every other person's like, oh, Doctor Who, nice shirt.
It's just a certain connection you get doing it. It's fun to talk about it. I always like making fun of little nitpicky things in the show, so I always enjoy hearing jokes about the show as well. Yeah, and it just gives you a real sense of community. It's great to talk about, and everyone loves talking about TV, so why not?
It's hard to find, fellow Doctor Who fans, and so to go to these events where you see people not just dressing up like them, or not just going, but dressing up like them, it's really great to see, and to be able to discuss episodes and things like that. It's like your own little, group of, you all have your own little secret world there that no one else knows about, and I like that.
There's so many episodes that start where you see the TARDIS land somewhere, and as soon as it lands, the door opens up and out pops the Doctor's head, and he's smiling and he's looking around, and he's like a little kid, and he's looking, and there's a sense of awe and wonder, and I like that.
I like to hear a good story, because I mean, my real life is not, it's fun, but it's not nearly as exciting as Doctor Who, and so just like with any other TV show or movie or book or anything like that, sort of a chance to experience a more interesting, like a heightened version of life, is something I always jump at.
I got involved with Doctor Who about a year and a half ago from my friend Kevin Shield. I watched the whole series, and he said it was great. And he showed me Blink, which seems to be a popular choice for like the first episode, and yeah, I loved it from there. Watched all the way through on Netflix, and been obsessed ever since.
About 2 years ago, I watched all of the new series on Netflix, and I watched them back to back to back, and I couldn't stop watching them, and that was how I got sucked in.
Gadzooks, probably in the 1970s. Well, when I first got involved with Doctor Who was the Tom Baker years, so whenever that was.
I don't know the exact time. I know it was after the second season had come out. I was living in Asia, and there was a marathon, and I know it was back when VCRs were still cool, because my dad recorded all of them, and then I remember watching them on VHS tape, all of the first season and the second. Maybe like 4 years ago.
Mine was 8 o'clock on a, I have no idea.
You know the time?
It was,
I was gonna be like, whoa, way to show me
second, yeah. Well, when I was in Asia, no, I started pretty late. I started like this summer, and I watched like everything, and by everything I mean starting from Christopher whatever his last name. Yep, that's what I said. Yep.
I found out about it through fan fiction. I think it was Harry Potter. So it was a horrible crossover with Doctor Who. I hear the word Harry Potter. And I thought that it something this awesome I should clearly be watching, so I started watching it.
That was about a year ago. I saw David Tennant in Hamlet on PBS, and I was like, I think that's that Doctor Who guy. And so I was like, I love the way he was in Hamlet, so I was like, I've got to check out Doctor Who. and that's what got me started.
I actually been involved with Doctor Who a really long time. I used to watch it as a kid on PBS, so the old version of it, and then as soon as the new version started a few years back, I've been watching that. So.
I actually watched the old Tom Baker shows, which shows my age. For me, like 3 years ago, about.
Probably around 2006. I think I caught up on the first of the new series with Christopher Eccleston, or I'm not sure what number Doctor he is, to be honest, on DVD, and then caught up with the David Tennant Doctors kind of live, so as they came out on BBC America.
Season 1's fun, but as you get further and further in, the new Doctor comes in and he's so much more interesting, and the writing gets better, and the show gets better, and everything would get better if I just would watch the episodes. So I started up again at the beginning of sophomore year, and then when I got to David Tennant season 2, it was love at first sight.
I would have to go with David Tennant just because I've seen the most of him, but I really like Matt Smith.
Of the old version, I like Tom Baker. He's my favorite one. I liked his really long scarf that he would trip on about 90% of the time, which was always kind of fun.
They each bring something so different. Eccleston was alien, and then David Tennant was fun, but then he was really dark. And then Matt Smith is all over the place, but he has a lot of heart, and then he also has darkness too. And I think they're all wonderful and brilliant.
Each one has their own quirks, their own ways of doing things.
I started with 9. Started the series, but he's my favorite for sure. I started with 9, but 10's my favorite.
My Doctor, well, for forever I would have said Tom Baker, but I'm such a fan of David Tennant, I can't believe it. So probably David Tennant, but I have to say this whole new series, I've liked them all. I've even kind of finally gotten to like Matt Smith. But David Tennant is just awesome.
They were both very different. Both very badly behaved at times, but I think Chris was the naughtiest. X, we called him. He was naughty. David is just delightful and fun and you know, like a puppy, and never ever moaned or complained ever. Was just happy 24/7, 6 days a week. Absolutely brilliant. So loved working with both of them. Really hard to choose, but I'd probably go David. Is that naughty? I think I'd go David to be my favourite. Yeah.
Something about the way he took on the role, he elevated it to a whole other level. I love Christopher Eccleston and Matt Smith, but Tennant will always be my Doctor.
They both do so many different things, and I think Matt Smith gets better stories than David Tennant. I think just like the writing's gotten better and better as time went on.
Yes, they're the same Doctor and share the same emotions, or same mind is a better word, but they don't share the same personality.
My wife had watched it with me, but she really loves David Tennant. She's just thought he was, you know, there's something about him that was sexy, that was very engaging, and he just had that type of personality.
David Tennant's my Doctor, but Amy Pond is definitely my companion.
I have to say Amy Pond. I mean,
you like her because she's attractive, though.
There's just something about her that I find just really. She's just so much fun. She's just so much fun, and I like the way she can go from being very angry 1 second and you know, change on a dime to being scared for another second, and then trying to save the day in the 3rd second or whatever.
I feel like Donna brings out the best 10, but Donna's also my favorite companion. I find Rose really whiny.
Well, right now, Katie. Oh.
Obviously, it's Rose.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate Rose with a passion.
Actually, probably because she was so important to David Tennant, probably Rose.
As much as people love Rose, she was just, she felt to me very useless. She messed up more things than she helped. I don't really like Billie Piper either.
Rose is the best companion ever. The only time TV has been close to drawing me to tears is when they were saying goodbye, and he didn't say I love you back.
I like Donna Noble. Mostly because she was the only companion where they kind of took the sexual tension out of it. Although I guess with the current Amy Pond, kind of that as well, especially weirdly she being his mother-in-law, but or something like yes, mother-in-law, that's right. I just found it a little bit more fun to have the companion be more of a companion and not this sort of weird tension.
My favorite companion is by far Donna Noble. Yeah, she's just the spunkiest, and she's got the most depth to her, I think. Like, there's just so much character to Donna Noble, and I love every moment of it.
She's just really funny, she's smart, and she progresses as a character. And her final scene, if you haven't seen it, it made me cry. It's so sad. So she also gets one of the saddest endings.
But I like Rose too, and I love Amy and Rory. And I'm so glad that Rory's not dead.
And that's something about actually all the companions, is that what's great about them is that they're not these damsels in distress. They can save the day just as good as a doctor.
I was sad when Donald left. I was kind of sad when Ten died and he went through his goodbye montage. And it was nice to see the end of Davies' run and know that those characters would never show up again, besides Jack. He might be special. And it's kind of fun to see Rory be awesome. But beyond that, I don't feel like I'm actually attached to them. I like enjoying them and watching their adventures, but attachment does not exist.
I started watching with my dad, so I normally watch them with him when I'm back, because my parents are both British, so they remember watching it when they were younger, and like the quintessentially British hiding behind the couch when the Daleks come out, that kind of thing.
Oh no, a garbage can is coming to attack us.
You know, classic villain, you gotta go with the Daleks. Cybermen are okay, but Daleks are number one.
No, it's like the Flintstones car. It's completely open at the bottom. You sit on a plank and you have to physically pull 20 stone of thing along the track. So you get very big problems.
You will obey. Ooh, hold on, that needs to go a bit down. 1, 2, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Exterminate.
My main memory of working on Doctor Who, certainly in the first place, was being told by 23-year-old girls who are the third assistants, that I can't go to the toilet. You know, I feel like I'm in some kind of...
I remember him moaning about that.
I want to go now, just thinking about it. You know what I mean?
You know, this is bad. I kind of like the Cybermen. I know everybody says the Daleks, but they just kind of look like trash cans with plungers. So, but I kind of like the Cybermen.
I mean, the Daleks are always fun just because they're just sort of this ever-present thing. The Master was fun too, just because of the whole that he was the other Time Lord, or that we know of. I mean, there might be more, but that was just kind of an interesting. So I don't know if he would necessarily be called a villain, but he certainly was in the couple of episodes he was in. So
he could be pretty evil, and he could be. There is a sense that you wouldn't know what he was going to do next.
That's an interesting question. I never thought of that, but now that you bring it up, I don't think they've handled the Master as well in the new series as the Tom Baker series handled him. It was a fascinating thing then. So yeah, I would say yeah. I really like the Master in the Tom Baker years. So of course I hated him for killing Tom Baker, but really I'm not that crazy about the Masters in the later years, and which makes it particularly heartbreaking that they end up killing doctors who I like, because I don't even like them at all.
What about the Weeping Angels? My 6-year-old did not sleep for 3 days. Which is exactly the point. Yeah. That's exactly what is supposed to happen. There you go.